Welcome to the 2021 Street Parking Vault. The Street Parking Vault is a one workout a week for 25-week series with the goal to help street parking members build consistency.
This, however, is the beginning of round 2. If you have done this before, this is your opportunity to retest the workouts or try a different version.
Customize these movements and choose a version that fits your ability. Your scores and weights don't matter. The goal is to maintain consistency from week to week. You just can't miss.
If this is your first time doing this workout, click on the link below, which will take you to the original version that breaks down all of the customizations, tips, as well as all the different versions of the workout.
All right, guys, it is time again for Eros. Now, this one actually was one where many of our staff and many of you surprised us with how fast you were able to do it. So we have an opportunity to make this one more challenging for most of us. Now, if you were one of those people that was able to do all of your rounds under 3 minutes, you have the option, first of all, to go to those extra challenge reps if you didn't already. If you did already do the extra challenge reps and you were still super fast, my challenge for you this time is to try to do the entire thing unbroken. If you had customized the pull in some way, which means if you're doing banded pull-ups or if you were doing a inverted row, this time make that pull a little bit more challenging. That might mean that you're elevating your feet on the inverted row or using a lighter band. Another option that you have for the pull-ups, or if you can do a few pull-ups but not just sets of 15 really fast, I challenge you this time to try to do 3 to 5 actual pull-ups each round before you go to your customization. Now, if you were outside of the range, maybe you didn't choose the best customizations last time or you weren't quite ready for the customizations that you chose, that's totally fine. You can try again and see if you've improved, or you can make a little bit of smarter decisions this time. Make sure that you choose a type of pull that allows you to do those sets of 15 in no more than 2 sets. For shift, I have a super fun challenge for you guys. If you did shift last time and you were able to get in that goal range, instead of doing the goblet squats each round, turn that into either a single dumbbell, double dumbbell thruster, or a wall ball if you have access to them. You can use a low target, but it might be fun to see how things go if you change that goblet squat into the program A movement of the wall ball. All right, so last time I did the 15-15-15 with wall balls and pull-ups, and my plan after that was to do the extra challenge for round 2. Well, now I am 10 weeks pregnant and I can still do pull-ups, and I could probably make that extra challenge or the regular version happen, but I'm choosing not to do pull-ups because that just puts a lot of strain on the pregnant midline. So I remember last time Chris did the single dumbbell, or I think he might have used a kettlebell thruster and the inverted rows, and it just looked terrible. So I thought, why don't I just put myself in that position, I guess, and do the version that Chris did, because it did look like a really challenging workout. And I wanted to show you guys that oftentimes these things that we think of as customizations are even more challenging than the regular version. And so I'll demonstrate that for you now.
All right, here we go. Round 1 of Eros, which is 4 rounds of 15 wall ball, 15 pull-up, 15 wall ball. Rest 2 minutes between rounds. But as Miranda just said, she's switching things up. She's customizing to, her ability currently. She's making her adjustment. We have another baby on the way, so this is a smart move. Getting away from the pull-ups. She's in the 3rd pregnancy. She knows right away to kind of taper off those pull-ups. It's just not necessary. They'll come back. After, good recovery postpartum, so she feels really good about this, and it's really good.
She's increasing her reps in the quote-unquote wall ball section, but she's increasing the reps in the thruster section. So instead of the 15 wall ball, she's doing 20 lightweight thrusters.
That's right. And on the inverted row here, guys, these are extremely challenging. I don't know about you guys, but To be honest, I would rather do the pull-ups over the inverted rows because, you have no kip really at all actually in the inverted row, so that fatigue really sets in on that pull. And so you have to be very strategic about how you break those up, especially, I think she's sticking with 15, right? So for her, she went unbroken. In a workout like this though, you have good recovery time, so that way when you do come back around to them, you could try to hold big sets on that, which is really good. But remember, those are challenging movements. So if you're one of those who was doing that version, if you need to break it up into 2 sets, do so. The minute you feel like you're going to failure, that's not good, okay? So always break before that and then get right back to it so you can finish strong and keep with what the purpose of this workout is, and try to do it in as few sets as possible.
At 142, great time considering she upped the reps and also those inverted rows. I feel like they're a little bit slower, right?
Absolutely. They're definitely a lot slower. So there's tips given in the beginning of this video. There's lots of ways that you guys can change this workout up depending on how you approach it the first time. Now, for a lot of you guys doing the vault for the first time, just pick a version that works for you. For those of you guys who are repeating this workout and want to change it up to something that is going to challenge you, because one of the things that we remember seeing is that many of you guys were finishing, this section super fast, and we gave a goal time of about, 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes, which was something that a lot of people were finishing way before that. They're like, this workout was too easy. Well, if you were one of those individuals that said this workout was too easy, I will challenge you to find a version that's going to up the intensity. So if that means doing the extra challenge reps, and I think that'll do. Or if you want to do a heavier wall ball, that'll push you guys, and see if you can get under 2.5 minutes still. And that'll change the workout completely, which is the purpose, right? Approach the second round of vault differently.
What if they were doing shift? What are some recommendations to kind of do a shift/program A situation?
So if they're doing shift, and they were able to still stick under the goal time and they felt really good about it, there wasn't anything that really, made them lose, like they weren't in control, then I would suggest maybe approaching the version that Miranda's doing and doing the dumbbell thrusters and the inverted rows and doing the RX reps that we have prescribed, which is just 15, 15, 15.
Nice.
And I think that's a great way to enter into this workout because, why not? Challenge yourself to see what you're capable of.
So instead of the goblet squats, they could switch to a thruster and 100%. Go for it that way.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. Remember, guys, there's no failing on how you approach this workout. There's only learning lessons. That's the way that you should kind of approach these vault workouts, right? It's not always about, I got to improve or beat my score. There's some of those workouts, depending on how you're feeling, yourself. There's some of those this year that I want to approach and want to see if I can go faster. But then there's some of those where I felt like I went pretty fast, and I don't want to do that. I want to change it up and see the different versions and how they challenge me. So Miranda, I think she chose a version that's still going to challenge her for this workout, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and she knew going into it that this is going to be more challenging, and it's also going to take her longer. So she said she was prepared for it to take her longer. She wasn't really worried about it. She just expects to still get under about that 3-minute mark each time is what she's shooting for. She said she's going to break up her reps when she feels like she needs to, but she doesn't actually even necessarily have a plan of what sets she wants to get. She's just like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, right there, luckily she was about to finish up because there was a pause. Anytime you see a pause like that, depending on where you're at in the rep scheme, if you are, in the middle of your rep scheme, I would suggest break there, don't pause. But she only had one more rep after that, so she just finished it out, which is good. This is round 2 for her. I'm pretty sure she's probably going to break up a little bit more frequently going into the 3rd round.
Yeah, she said she did plan to break up on the rows pretty much all the time. She's going to shoot for unbroken thrusters throughout, though, and she's looking pretty strong, so I think that's totally doable.
Absolutely. Guys, a single dumbbell thruster is a very challenging way to do this workout. I mean, you can go heavier, especially if you don't want to use 2 dumbbells. But after a certain weight, I do think it's necessary to just go ahead and use 2 dumbbells because holding the dumbbell becomes unsafe. The 20-pound, this is a 25-pounder? Yeah. This is, still in control for a lot of people. If you have small hands, I would just suggest grabbing 2 lighter dumbbells.
She's doing great so far. Her first round, she finished in 1:42. The second one, she finished in 1:50. So she is right on pace. Just lost a couple of seconds there.
That was definitely the inverted row break, but that's normal.
For sure. Let's talk a little bit about the inverted row / pull-up. What are some good customizations people could use for pull-ups?
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, obviously you could do banded pull-ups. Which in a workout like this, I would say it's appropriate just because, you know, you have a lot of recovery time. It's not like it's pull-ups, do something else, and then come back to pull-ups, because then at that point it becomes really annoying to move in and out of the band.
Yeah.
And you just eat up a lot of time that way. But given that it's only one set, I do think a band is pretty appropriate. And again, make sure that you're getting that chin over that bar. If you're trying to throw a band on there and you're doing eyes over the bar, maybe not. You're not quite ready for that yet. And if you're using a band that is as thick as like as your hamstring, then you know maybe you shouldn't be doing the banded version. You know, just there's levels for sure. So that's one of them. There's ring rows. You can do ring rows as well. There's bar in the rack, which she's doing. There's bent over barbell row or dumbbell row. And yeah, so just grab any version that works for you on this one here.
And
If I were to use a barbell, I would bust out 125, you know, on the barbell, something that's going to challenge me to want to break it up and just move quickly, and it would still challenge me the same way.
Last time she was doing a kipping pull-up, and you were doing a butterfly pull-up. So those are both great options as well. Which one do you find more or less difficult, the kipping or the butterfly? Or what are the pros and cons to those?
So honestly, I would say that the kipping pull-up for me is a little bit more difficult because of when I started working out, I learned the butterfly pull-up and just to be faster and more competitive.
Yeah.
So to me, that's more efficient, and I'm able to breathe better that way, as opposed to the kipping pull-up. It takes a little bit more focus and attention to the. I have to pay more attention to the rhythm.
Yeah.
But it should be the opposite. I think a lot of people should learn how to do a kipping pull-up first and then a butterfly. But even a butterfly is only necessary if you're trying to increase your speed or be competitive.
Yeah.
But for most of you guys, I think learning a kipping pull-up is very, very important as a first step. Okay.
Nice. Here
It's
she
just
is
more
back
body
in inverted
control.
rows.
People get really sloppy on butterfly pull-ups.
She's doing pretty good, repping out some good solid sets, taking a quick break, getting back on there.
Let's see where she's at after this. Oh, there's that pause. I hope she's getting close to being done.
There we go. Nice.
She held on. Okay, good. Now back to the dumbbell thruster.
Like she said before this too, sometimes the quote-unquote easier or customized option is actually kind of terrible. It can be a big game changer. So if you're looking to switch it up on yourself, you can sometimes go with the customizations that, sure, they might be not necessarily at your ability. You might feel like, oh, you know, bar and rack is easier than a pull-up. But if you watch Miranda here, they're actually pretty awful sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the things, too, that the barbell inverted rows, she might be going a little bit slower there than the kipping pull-ups, but she's probably picking up pace on the thrusters because she's allowing herself, because the inverted row is not really metabolically fatiguing. It's actually muscular fatigue that sets in there. So she's able to quickly get off that thing. She's not really gassed, so she's able to get that dumbbell, pick it up, and just get moving, and probably picks up the pace a little bit more. How was round 3 on that one?
That was good. She actually shaved a couple seconds off. She's
Nice.
a 1:47 on that one, which seems to be right in her range. I'm thinking she's going to probably match that, if not exceed it, in the last round. What do you think? You think she's going to go faster in this last round or stay about the same?
I remember round 4 for us was the hardest round when it came to the pulling section. So
Yeah.
it all depends on how she's going to break up with those inverted rows and how long of a recovery she's going to need in between. So we'll see. We'll see. I could see that fatigue was really setting in to close out that last set there. So it's harder to recover once you kind of hit that stage.
So let's talk a little bit. We're doing Eros right now. Can you tell me a little bit about Eros?
Oh yeah, let's
Who's
go ahead and
Eros?
talk about that guy. So Eros is the god of mischief,
Oh,
which is Loki in Norse mythology.
yeah.
You know? He's mischievous god of love. Okay, I got that completely wrong. Please ignore that. I digress. He was born at the beginning of time to spur procreation, and without warning,
Oh.
he just
well
selects
then-
his targets and forcefully strikes at their hearts, bringing confusion and irrepressible feelings. He loosens the limbs and weakens the minds.
I mean, it makes sense then that God of procreation, Miranda's over there great with child, so.
Yeah, Eros had a pretty interesting story in the book Mythos. If you guys are enjoying Greek mythology, I would highly recommend reading the book Mythos or listening to it on Audible. This is not a sponsored ad. This is just actually, what sparked the idea of this vault.
Brought to you by Audible.
Yes. All right, she is moving, guys. She is moving on this set of thrusters. I think she knows she's gonna break up. I'm thinking she's gonna break up pretty frequently on those inverted rows.
Yeah.
Because she's powering through on these thrusters.
She's kind of doing that, what do you call it, the elephant, the reverse peacock?
Oh yeah, she's going
Looks
for
like
it.
she's
She's
speeding up in
pulling
this
that
last
dumbbell
round.
down. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
let's
that
see how it
is
goes.
always interesting. I've never really been able to master that, but trying to get like a thruster to go faster or a wall ball to go faster where you're pulling your arms back down, that seems difficult. Would you recommend that or?
Depends. If you are allowing yourself to breathe, then sure, if you want to go faster. But I think most people haven't figured out how to be efficient with thrusters. They look at thrusters and they panic.
Yeah.
Which means that they have some work to do on that movement. And I really think that it's just a matter of breathing through the movement, And if you find yourself holding your breath, then I would suggest dropping the barbell, catching your breath, and then keep moving.
Nice.
All right, oh wow,
Here
she
we go,
really.
here we go.
Okay, here we go. She's definitely going to be faster on this round.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think this might be her fastest round yet if she can hold on to it. It's questionable though with the breaking up of those inverted rows. We will have to see.
So when it comes to a movement like this, let's break down the breathing. She inhales, holds her breath, exhales there, inhales, exhales. And the reason why it's important to pay attention to that breathing pattern, so you can brace your midline on the way down and you're not really collapsing, and exhale at the top, and then repeat that process, right? Because if not, if you do the opposite, then you're just in for a bad time. Wow. All right.
Nice. Oh, math.
Okay, well, we don't have a calculator, but we know that she definitely went faster on this one. And that was it, guys. She ended up crushing that workout. Okay, we're going to take a little bit moment. We're going to turn down the music, let her catch her breath a little bit, because remember, she is growing another human being inside of her at the moment. And we know how much harder it is to breathe and recover in that stage. Well,
While we
I
give
don't,
her a
but-
minute, let's talk a little bit about, do you know what you are going to do this second time around? Are there going to be any changes for you on this one?
Let me see here. I think, honestly, I just might use a heavier wall ball.
Okay.
I think I might use a heavier wall ball and try to stick underneath the goal time still. I don't think I'll go unbroken if that's the case. But I do think that that'll be appropriate for what I'm trying to do. It's just going to challenge me a little bit more. I'm already expecting that it's going to be way more difficult, and I'm not going to be faster. I'm not trying to be faster. I'm just trying to go to the next level of intensity, so.
Final math is in. It looks like that last round was 1:45. Her fastest round was 1:42, and her slowest was 1:50. Great times there with Miranda. Let's go in for some tips.
Hi. Oh my god. So, yeah, that was hard. The rest it feels long. Even like the third rest, it's a really good amount of rest. So you just have to push it the whole time. I think I only did maybe the first 2 sets of rows unbroken, but the breaks were short. I heard them kind of talking about like, if you get to where you're pausing at the bottom, it's probably just a good place to shake it out. That version was very, not grippy, but shoulder intensive, because you're holding the kettle or the dumbbell the whole time, and then you're not getting a lot of help or any help at all from your lower body on the rows. So regardless of which version you do, that pace of pretty unbroken, especially for the wall balls or the thrusters, is what we're looking for. You don't have to be under 2 minutes, but even if you have to break for a second before you pick the ball up, try to, at least for the first few rounds, go unbroken. I challenge anyone who fancies themselves good at pull-ups to do the inverted row with your feet elevated. It's not as metabolically taxing. I mean, I just can't breathe right now because my blood is more concerned about the baby in my belly than me recovering from my workout. But It's not as metabolically taxing in that it doesn't increase your heart rate as much as like a kipping pull-up does, but it's a really hard pull. Make sure you touch your chest at the top if you try this version. Elevate your feet so that it's challenging for you and you're not just breezing through. But if you're somebody who's good at pull-ups, do the inverted row option for this workout and other workouts that we give it. It's a really good pull strengthener. So have fun with this one, you guys. Do the same version and crush it or change it up, but good luck.